Welcome to the Knowledge Entrepreneurs Show, where we celebrate the innovators driving change in the education industry. At Edison OS, we've worked with over 500 knowledge entrepreneurs to turn their edtech ideas into profitable businesses. Good evening, Priyamvada. Welcome to the Knowledge Entrepreneurs Show. Thank you so much for taking your time out for this.
Thank you, Jagmohan, for having me over on the show. I am really pleased and honored that I'm going to be sharing something that can be knowledgeable for everyone and anyone.
I'm sure I have no doubts about that. And you know what? My first guest was also from your city, Kolkata. I think Indrajit Balotia, he was a golfer and he runs an academy called Champ for Life. And that is for kids who want to focus mainly on sports, but at the same time have some degree also, like BCom, BSc, whatever it is. So he's just made an academy which will just give them whatever is needed to clear it and get a certificate.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
See, I suppose he's taken that inspiration from maybe the Oberoi group of hotels because they have this very interesting hotel management course. Especially, they provide this at their Udaipur hotel, is where the child can start interning right after class 12 into the hotel management field. At the same time,
Right.
let you get a degree in a BSc or a BA or something side by side, so that at
Right.
the end of the degree, at the end of the entire thing, the child has a degree as well as practical hands-on knowledge in the hotel management field. And most of these children
Right.
that they train through this entire program get absorbed by their hotels across India, and then later they can take a trip abroad. Uh, yes, earlier when they started this program, at that time they were picking up anybody and everybody, but now their criteria are very strict. A lot, I would say, a lot of people appear for it. But there is only a certain number. I am not sure of the figures and the data, but there
Right.
is very little
Right.
small number of people that can get admission there. I know this hands on because I know somebody very close who tried for this program and reached till the interview and was not accepted because they felt that his answer,
Okay.
everything was very good, but his body language did not give them a feeling that he was meant for this course, because this course starts from right from the first level of being a valet and a kitchen washing staff to a cleaning staff, and then going up this
Wow.
ladder. So that's
Wow.
the
Thank you for this, this little information because it's pretty cool. You must have heard of Zoho, right? Zoho also has something like this.
yes, I have heard.
Yeah. And Indrajit, okay, since you spoke about, what must have inspired Indrajit to start off Champ for Life. So when back in 1989, when he wanted to go pro, his parents were too much of professionals to kind of let him pursue golf as a full-time thing. And he was in a bit of a dilemma back then. But then he managed to somehow do both. But in 2014, his son wanted to go pro. And he was in the same state as his parents. And then, that's when he decided, okay, you know what, we can solve this problem
See,
by
I
doing
suppose
this.
yes. In Hindi, there's a saying, जब खुद पे आती है ना, तब direction मिलता है.
Right.
So I think it's actually happened, and when it was his turn to be the father and decide for his child,
Yeah.
then he
Yeah.
could understand his own parents' dilemma. At the same time, didn't want
Right.
to crush the dreams and the passion of his own child.
Right.
I am really happy that you share this with me, because I do keep getting a lot of students who come to me saying that they want to keep sports as a main for a degree.
Right.
So we generally suggest to them, if they are really good players and to keep their parents into calm, is to maybe take a degree from IGNU or NIOS or something like a distance learning thing, so that the child, which does not really, because, and then the parents ask me, do you have students who've done this so that I can you can share a case study with us like that? So, picking up case
Right.
studies like this for those parents to give them a lot of relief and calm is difficult. But I can now, is after you've spoken, I can do a little research on this and redirect such parents to him so that, he'll be more of help in understanding their
Yeah.
feelings, in helping them overcome the fear and the challenges that come their path without breaking
Yeah.
their
I
children's
can.
desires and dreams.
Yes, yes. Yeah, totally. I can also share some information, and if need be, I can put you in touch with him. And also, one of the things that we do plan to do, we've done about 22 guests so far. I think
Wow.
you're 23rd, 24th. So, we've built a nice set of community around the knowledge entrepreneurs. So, everybody who's come on this show run a business linked to education in some way or the other. And
You, in fact, create a WhatsApp group community for us, or 25
yeah,
of us. So what happens is we can exchange obviously our information on that, and also we can help you by using, somebody has some input but does not know how to process ahead, some other person
right.
can and we can think of more podcasts for your channel in different aspects. In
Yeah, sure thing,
We
Priyamvada.
can
That
have
is
very good
something.
topic debates. We can where we can exchange knowledge. We can have very good
Yeah,
other kind of. Here you're doing a session on a one-on-one with me.
yeah,
Going forward, you can have sessions with multiple of us about a topic where we can
yeah.
all share our thought process that can not only enrich people who are going to be here listening to this, but also help you grow as a podcasters.
No, totally. This was in our mind as well. Thank you for also sharing the same, idea. And I know that you're already in, so I just have to go and talk to the rest of the people and create a
I
group
think
or
everybody
something.
is going to be in. I suppose I'll tell you what. If you asked me about doing this before the pandemic, I would have maybe been a little hesitant about what people are
Hmm.
going to think about me. Will I be a part
Hmm.
of that group? How are they going to accept my views, thought process? A lot of thought process which would go in. But
Right.
the pandemic taught me at least a lot of things, good, bad,
Right.
both. So if I say let's take the good things it taught me that uh, it's too life is too short to keep our own thoughts and opinions just to ourselves. Why not put it on the plate? Worst come, it's going to get rejected, but better come,
Yeah.
it might just evolve and become a better thing where it's I am also going to take a lot of good learning, bad learning, both, which will help me in my next thought process.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, why assume, right? Even before giving it a try,
Exactly.
you'd
Yeah.
rather, put something out and then handle a rejection, worst case.
Yeah, yeah, I don't need to be silly. I don't need to be stupid by putting in things which was absolutely bogus. Not everything, but
Yeah.
I'm a
Of
human,
course.
a human brain. I filter, but things that come to my mind. But like this particular, when you said about these 24 entrepreneurs, the first thing that came to me, why not create a community and we can help you with it. So instead of, I would have thought it, kept it to myself and said, no, why should I poke into their thought process or their business mind? Let me keep it. What will he judge that, she's just come right now and, she's doing this. But I said, why
Yeah.
not? Works.
No, yeah.
Doesn't work.
Yeah, because we've always thought what is the value that we are really bringing in, offering to the people who are taking away 2 valuable hours, man, and then joining on this podcast. We've only told them this might happen. We are going to distribute this podcast really well, and maybe some connections. People would know, okay, you are into this business, you might probably get a couple of students or something. But beyond that, we thought if we can have a platform where everybody can come together, who knows, it could become like a nice business networking sort of a group, and then people
Exactly.
can pass on businesses also.
Exactly.
uh,
My point is not everything uh, has to get redirected towards earning money.
totally, and that's exactly what is this, right? I mean, trust me, none of us are doing this for money or something like that. It is simply something in the side. Both business owners just put out some value, and hope that but the primary focus is value. But
Exactly.
then something comes of it, it comes, otherwise it doesn't, but it's
Exactly.
not
That's what I'm
focused towards
saying.
money.
The end result of me spending these 2 hours here or you recording my journey is nowhere in my mind did it come that I'm going to earn money out of this.
Right, right, right,
I'm here because I am going to talk about something which can help
right,
people who, when I started my journey 13 years back, I did not have all this technology. But yes, I was lucky. I had that one person as my boss who pushed me, railed me, taught me. But he was also a very newcomer in the education field who was also trained by some trainees. But we did not have this much of technology where we could educate ourselves and polish
right,
ourselves. But today,
right.
when there is this scope, why not I share my journey to let people who are starting their journey right now, doesn't matter in my field or not, have a quick reality check, or I would say have a look into what kind of things they would face so that they are prepared both mentally and emotionally.
Yeah, yeah. And even for them to realize if this is for them or not, that's also great.
See, again, that is again a question which is depends on how much a person is open to accepting criticisms.
Right, right. And uncertainties too, I
Let's
think.
see, everything has an uncertainty. It's see
Yeah,
if you look at, see, grass is always green on the other end. If you look at it from a
yeah,
different perspective, or if you read my LinkedIn profile, you will say, "Oh, this girl has had all golden years and 13 years, and she's just gone up, 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 up." But ask me,
yeah.
13 years has been a roller coaster ride with a lot of down point moments where I have felt that everything is over. And
Right,
then I have again stuck myself with tape and glue and got myself up and said, no, because this is more than money, this is passion for me. And
right,
this is what I know and I like doing it. This gives me joy. Okay, let me again,
right.
I would not use the word restart because that's too bad a word, but for me here, but I would say, okay, let me
Hmm.
re-energize myself to do it, and
Right,
I have done it.
right, right,
And at times I have again failed when I have re-energized myself because I have not maybe put in the right amount of effort and the right amount of zeal into it.
right. Got it. No, thanks, Priyamvada, for touching upon that, because it's exactly what this entire conversation is supposed to kind of address and talk about, so that it could probably give some perspective to somebody out there who's listening. But before we get into that, Priyamvada, my first question, it's starting like literally 15 minutes after we've gotten into this podcast, which is great. So my first question to you is, if you can go as much back as you can, in your life, and then if you'd want to share with us, what your childhood was like growing up, and then because the reason I'm asking is, wherever you are at this point, I'm sure everything had its factor in it, right? So what led you to this, and how was it growing up, and what are the events that kind of happened for you to land up here?
See, if you ask me, my childhood has been like one of the best childhoods that I could have had, or any child could have had. I
Okay,
feel that.
right,
People
okay,
say you're born with a silver spoon. I think I was born with a silver, golden, platinum, all precious spoons possible on this earth. Is
nice.
because not because of material things that I got.
Hmm.
Yes, I
Hmm.
got a very soundly financially good childhood where I never had to think about anything. My parents were, they gave me enough love, but at the same time my parents right from the childhood uh, taught me value of relations. They taught me to be independent right from age one. I was people do call me that I'm a my mama's girl kind of a thing, like on my mother's lap and
Hmm.
everything, even today. But that's not the right
Right.
thing. Yes, I look up to my mother as my biggest moral support,
Hmm.
and because she's played a very big key role in forming me in whatever I am. But other
Right.
than her, I would say every family member, every closest relation that we've had with neighbors, family, friends, everything has
Hmm.
made impacts in my life to where I am.
Right.
Um, I am more closer to my maternal side of the family, where
Got it.
I was lucky that I grew up with a set of, I would say, four pairs of grandparents. That
Oh,
means
okay.
four pairs means that I was even able to grow up in the mentorship, guidance, and love of my mother's grandparents also, both sides, maternal and paternal.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
And in fact, my mother's grandfather on the paternal
Hmm.
side is the person who taught me what business is.
Right.
All my summer vacations back as a child, if we were not going on a vacation, I would come to my grandparents' house. And because
Mm-hmm.
he had lost his eyesight many years ago, so he couldn't read the newspaper, he wanted somebody to read the newspaper. So he
Okay.
made me sit and read the economic times to him, all the headings. That's how I
Okay.
learned how to read newspaper. That's how my English flourished.
Right.
That's how I picked up a lot of vocab words. That's how I came to know what stocks are and how do you deal with them and what is that. Because summer vacations
Right.
mean pulling out the annual reports of these stock books that would come to our house in Korea,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
and find the dividend percent. He exactly knew which page where I would find under which
Mm.
column because he was
Right.
so learned. So he used to tell me, I would flip through it, open, tell him, and I had to write it for him.
Right. Got it.
So I grew up doing all of that.
And this was what you were in your mid-teens, early teens.
I think like this I started from when I was in class 3, 4.
Oh, okay.
He said you
Okay.
can read
No wonder.
English, you can read numbers. Yes. Why not do this? Why spend your summer vacations just playing? Because you would not study for the whole time. You would study barely for 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour for the evening, and the rest of the day
Right.
was splat around the whole house playing. Or and because I was my
Right.
grandmother's pet, be after my
Hmm.
grandmother doing 500 things with her. So no, sit
Hmm.
down with me for an hour and a half. And I'm very, very
Hmm.
thankful wherever he is in the world right now. I'm very thankful for him to inculcate that sense of business acumen in me.
Right. Great.
So he was another key player in my life was my uncle, my mother's brother.
Mm-hmm.
I have looked upon him as my idol all my life.
Right.
He is a man who says white is white, black is black in my life. He's not somebody just to shower love on me, would
Hmm.
look through things on me.
Hmm. Right.
I have had the I have really good memories of my childhood with him before he left to do his masters, and then all these years also he's always there, just a call away whenever I need him to discuss
Right.
anything. And he's very rational, very practical. Again, he does
Right.
not turn and twist words. He's very blunt and sharp on my face. There have been times when I've hated his conversations and his advice, thinking that how can somebody be so harsh and cruel to me? But then later on I
Right.
realized that if somebody is not, then I would not understand what
Yeah.
the reality of this particular thing is.
Yeah.
Another key player in my life is my mother's father, my grandfather. And
Right.
and he has been there in my life all the years, but he actually started playing a role at the beginning of my career. That is,
Okay.
after I finished class 12, he started playing a role. He literally took me under him to teach me accounting, to look after your own accounts, your own finances, and how do you do it. He started
Right.
helping me do it for me. And in a few years, he started getting ill and so I had to start taking over. He passed
Right.
very recently, and in
Okay.
the last few years, we were like a thick as thieves bond, in terms that our day
Okay.
would start with each other and end with each other. Even if I was traveling,
Right.
we would talk to each other multiple times in a day, because I was
Mhm.
worried about his health. And
Right.
he trusted me with his finances and everything blindly. You see,
Got it.
having your own children but still trusting your granddaughter with it is actually a big, big matter when you can term it in our society.
Yeah.
But he did that because he had taught me from his own hands how to maintain books, how to keep record of your business. So that is why today I've been running my business for 8+ years, and I thank him to be able to teach me how to run it very smoothly. The operations are very smooth. Everything is documented and everything is so smooth. There are no delays or anything which says that, oh, I forgot to do this.
Got it. Uh, Priyamvada, you were a art student, right? You did your
Yes.
Bachelor of Arts, and then I saw on your LinkedIn, after your arts, and then there are a bunch of courses that you've done from abroad. So did you
Some,
travel
yeah,
a
some
lot?
from abroad, some are from India.
Okay, got it. So it's interesting because, like, what exactly triggered you to choose? Like, did you choose this profession, this line of career, um, when you were in arts? What helped you decide this? Was there any trigger or something?
I didn't choose this field or profession. The profession chose
Okay,
me.
chose you. Okay, yeah.
Uh,
If you can
right.
share that story.
Yeah, I had a very strong inclination of studying my bachelor's in Delhi. I even
Okay.
appeared for a lot of entrance exams, and I had got admission also.
Hmm.
But a medical accident restricted me from that.
Oh, okay. You couldn't travel to Delhi.
Yeah, I could not travel to Delhi because just before my board exams of class 12, I fell down
Hmm.
and had broken my right elbow and wrist.
Oh, okay.
And because I had taken my board exam with that broken wrist and elbow,
Okay.
it had impacted my entire health.
Right.
So, for which, when I was planning to travel out of the city for
Hmm.
my bachelor's, it was not medically a very sound decision.
Right.
Therefore, I decided to study in Calcutta. And,
Okay.
and I was very late in applying to the best of colleges in Calcutta. Therefore, I had to choose among whatever was available.
Right.
So, and English was my favorite subject all through. So, taking up English honors was what I had decided back in school. So, that was not a
Even
compromise.
in Delhi, that's what you're going to do.
Yes, that was not a compromise.
Got it.
So, the first year of college was really interesting, making new friends, learning new kind of lifestyle, very erratic hours, catching up with friends, going for shopping, la 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 la. That was a very interesting, different kind of life. But at the end of
Yeah.
1 year, I came back and I told my mother, I don't like this lifestyle. It was fun for a year, but
Mhm.
not for multiple years. I feel very as if I'm useless.
Mm.
So she said, go find yourself a job.
Okay.
And the first job that I was able to find or pick for myself was an editing job. I was to edit
Right.
certain financial books for somebody,
Okay.
the English part of it, not obviously the finance technical jargons, but just the English of
Got it. Got it. But
uh,
this was while you were still doing your. You just
yes,
finished your first year.
yeah. So I took that up job and I really liked it. And the person
Okay.
who had engaged me in this job, I went back to him, of shared with him that okay, I've done this job. He found my job a good deal, and he was
Hmm.
starting. He and another friend of his was starting a new project called Financial Literacy Program for women and children in Calcutta. And he said we have an opening for this program, this project where we need a project coordinator. And
Hmm.
your work is to basically enroll students, children, and parents for this program. And wherever the workshop is, carry all the materials, organize it there. We'll have our trainers taking it.
Got it.
It was, I just took it up because I did not have anything else in hand and I thought that it's going to keep me engaged. Why not?
Right.
So that's when I took that up in the second year of my college. And while I was doing this, I realized, or I would have say, I understood that my interaction with children, parents, or I would say, I understood that I'm a people's person. I love
Right.
interacting, networking. I am able to talk to kids and parents and soothe their nerves if they're all upright, able to answer them in the most
Right.
calmest manner. Um, so that was my first thing, and that made me start thinking that I need to find something in a professional world where I can do a PR job kind of a thing. Why is
Right.
this project? By chance, the trainer, for whatever reason, could not make it to a particular day's commitment, and somebody had to fill in the shoes.
Okay.
And they asked
Right.
me, and because I was being a part of it, seeing how this runs, I said, "Yeah, I can take it
Right.
up," and I did it.
Interesting.
I was
Got it.
crazily nervous. I
Okay.
must have, I'm sure if somebody recorded that entire event would have seen I must have fumbled 500 times, uh, gone
Okay.
blank, gone blank a lot of times. But
Right.
overall, it went off great. And my bosses at that time were really impressed. And they said that we don't need a trainer, you can take it. And that's when I started
Wow.
it.
Okay. And this was what? You were 19, 20?
Yeah, I was 1920, somewhere around the same.
Okay. And the trainers were what? Like, what were they? The trainers who.
They were obviously professionals who knew the finance world quite a bit.
Right.
Obviously, quite a bit, I would say. They weren't from the finance world. They were mutual fund and insurance advisors and financial planners who were working
Hmm.
on bigger clients, and they had a teaching ability, so they came up to do these workshops.
Got it. Got it.
So that's where I realized that I even have a teaching aptitude inside myself.
Right.
By the end of this project, uh, my boss's older brother was starting an education consultancy.
Hmm.
So he's
Okay.
asked me that if I could just join him and, trigger the whole thing with him.
Got it.
He was new, I
Got it.
was new. I decided to step into this.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that for some time. But when it started
Okay.
demanding my full time, and I could not because my college last year was going on,
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just generally, I understood by then that, okay, I want to get into something where teaching is involved, people talking is involved. I was introduced to courses like career counseling,
Hmm.
special education,
Hmm.
mind understanding. But
Right.
when I saw these names of these courses, they were very scary.
Okay.
Because special education, when you say it to somebody, the first thing that hits you is, okay, you might have to be teaching special children.
Special children. Yeah.
And it's nothing bad about teaching them, but it's actually a big challenge teaching them because it's not everybody's cup
Yeah.
of tea. But I realized that special education is not teaching special children. Special
Okay.
education means using different methods to teach different people. Not two
Okay.
people have the same capacity of
Yeah.
understanding and grasping.
Yeah.
They might
Right.
need different tactics to be able to learn something.
Right.
So I understood about this course is through reading the course modules and speaking to the course director. And when they explained it to me, I got really fascinated about it.
Right.
Back in 2010, career counseling was a taboo because people did not use the word career counseling in India. They use the word counseling, and counseling means that you are mentally sick, therefore, the
Yes.
taboo.
Yes. Yes.
So I again spoke to the course director to understand what is this course. And
Right.
just in the air, out of fluke, I applied. I was
Okay.
good with writing. I enjoyed writing, so I wrote a 3,000 word essay with my views and points on why English language and why people need and I could pull in a lot of my own experiences into it, that if I had somebody who would help me guide a better career scope, maybe in class 10 I would have selected better subjects in 11, and
Yeah.
gone that through a very focused path. But I was all in jitters, just doing whatever I felt like without any planned
Yeah.
thing. So keeping
Yeah.
all that into place, um, I applied, and luckily I got admission.
Cool.
When I got
This is in UK.
in UK, I got admission, and I was not sure if this is the correct email that I had received. I thought it
Mm-hmm.
was spam,
Mm-hmm.
because I was shocked because there was a scholarship amount also mentioned there, and I thought that that's going to be that's crazy.
Okay.
But then I later verified and everything and took it up. But the good part about this course was that because my finishing of my third year and the starting of
Mm-hmm.
this course was in a difference of a week, I did not need to travel immediately. I could do a lot of things online.
Right. Right.
So I took it up doing online on this.
Hmm.
And by the time I finished my college and I thought I would maybe try look at going abroad, uh, financially we were not very stable at that point of time.
Okay.
And I felt it was going to be a very challenging thing to ask back at home to help me support my
Right.
education. Even if I have a
Right.
scholarship, asking them to support this would, my mother, my father would maybe try and do anything possible, but it would have been a challenge. So I decided that I would not. I spoke to my directors and all, because it was a
Hmm.
course which did not need me in class, as in, I would attend live classes. Means I would
Right.
connect through the webcam and be connected to the class, but I would not need to
Hmm.
travel for the
Great.
entire course.
Okay.
So I did that. And that's how career counseling came in. When I came back, when I finished this course, I was full time working, and I started off. My boss taught me. He gave me the free hand. His name is Mr. Rajesh Dalmia. He gave me the free hand to do anything and everything when it comes to learning and every aspect
Right.
of running the business. He
Got
was
it.
like a support. He was like a father figure who gave me all the freedom, and I'm immensely thankful. And I would say I would never forget this, that what he's done for me.
Got it. This is the person, your boss's elder brother who started that new consultancy. That's the.
Correct.
Got it. Got it.
I
Right.
worked with him till about 2014. And
Mm-hmm.
basically in 2013, there was a medical drift in the house with my grandfather. So I
Mm-hmm.
was not able to give a lot of time and effort into the work, but he was very patient with me. He let me
Right.
be very flexible with everything. But
Right.
by the end of 2013, I started feeling that I maybe need a break, or I need something more challenging, because my life had become very, from all aspects, my life had come to a very slow motion. So
Mm-hmm.
I took a sabbatical for a few months in 2014. But I think um, I had done a better job since 2010 till 2014 March, that the sabbatical was not actually a sabbatical for me, because I have
Right.
people who knew me, who had done cases from me, or earlier. They were recommending people to me who were approaching me directly and wanted me to help them. I would say that
Right.
I want to leave, go back to my old office. I don't know what I'm going to do new, but they would be like, no, we want you to do it for us.
Right.
So The sabbatical had to be short and sweet, and I had to just chuck it out. And
Right.
that's when I gave birth to my company.
Got it. Got it.
I started very slow with education again
Okay.
because I
Okay.
was very clear. I was not, did not do any projections, or I did not have a lot of insights about how this is going to take off. I was still
Hmm.
not sure of all the verticals that I wanted to place up. So
Hmm.
I didn't want to risk it.
Right.
And
Right.
therefore, I didn't want any outside investments or partners or anything.
Hmm.
I just wanted to start with my strengths of counseling and training,
Right.
and that's what happened.
Interesting. You know what? You said how you wanted to take a sabbatical, and then that led to education in you, right? I've there's been a certain pattern that I'm coming to see now with all of these entrepreneurs who start or something to do with, it could be test prep or counseling. One other person that I spoke to was based in Mumbai. Her name is Aditi, and very interesting thing. She's also from your place, Kolkata.
Oh, wow.
She eventually settled in Mumbai, and she started off teaching. She was a computer science graduate. She went on to do her. She was working in CTS, I think, as a coder or something. But then she wanted something more, and then she was doing English language training, and then that became a full time thing. And she took a break. She took a maternity break, during which, just like how students came to you directly, students started going to her place directly, which was a starting point for her venture. So, yeah, sometimes the sabbatical and breaks are a blessing in disguise, I guess, for a lot of people. And yeah, that's one thing. And you know what? I want to ask you another thing. You said, uh, that 1 year of that job that you did while you were doing your arts uh, kind of gave you the clarity at the end of your 3 year degree about what you wanted to do. You decided that you're going to do something to do with education and talking to people and stuff like that, and that's how you got into career counseling, right?
Correct.
Now, this particular incident or whatever happened is very interesting to me because I've been, one other person told me, this person's like, in his, let's say, 50s, and then, he runs a SaaS company. And then, he said one of the important things that, if possible, people can figure out, if they can figure out what they want to do as early as possible in their life. And I think in your case, it's quite early compared to a lot of people figuring things out in their 30s. I think when you figure it out while you're doing your degree. Now, my question is this: how much do you think that arts degree was a player in that? Because I'm sorry, if I have some sort of a, some sort of a bias towards arts, because from what I've seen, arts, is it a little lighter? Does it allow you to do a lot of other stuff on the side compared to maybe an engineering or an MBBS degree? So did that play a role at all for you to go do that job and stuff?
Okay, I will answer this question in two aspects. I will say
Right.
one from the point of view of myself as a student of arts back so many years
Hmm.
ago.
Hmm.
My subjects did not help me choose my career path or help me understand what career I wanted.
Right.
It is highly possible that I could have been doing any other subject combination, or maybe a management degree of a BBA or a BCom or whatever,
Right. Right.
and
Right.
still may have got uh, redirected to these internships, this editing, and this project that I took up, which would
Right.
redefine me, help me understand my base, because the field that I got into, that's education, has no
Hmm.
reflect with what I studied at arts.
Right.
I had to study this field of education absolutely from base point.
Right.
And we feel, so this is again another trend that is coming up, which I'm not uh, against, but not in very high favor of it. Why? Because my biggest principle is uh, knowledge is precious, but uh, You need to acquire knowledge from the rightful resource. Knowledge from the
Right.
wrong resource can harm somebody. Knowledge from the
Right.
right resource can build somebody's career in the most amazing manner.
Right.
So the reason when I said this, the trend is coming up right now is everybody thinks that, okay, because I can talk to five people pleasantly, I don't have a problem in interacting, in communicating, and they are maybe connected to education in any of the smallest way, want to become
Hmm.
counselors. They think there's a lot of material available online. Using those materials, I
Hmm.
can become a counselor. Yes, you
Right.
can. But the point is that please undergo a certain bit of training. Why? Because counseling is not only reading documents about education and supplying information, it is also
Right.
about understanding your client, which can be a student or a
Right.
parent's worry, concern, query, and calming their nerves by answering them in the rightful direction and the tone, which you need
Right.
a little bit of training.
Right.
And when I say,
Got it.
because any part of counseling needs you to know the very, very basic elements of psychology,
Right.
which I learned while I was doing my the master's program that I said about, which helped
Uh-huh.
me understand a lot of base. It helped me. It taught me how to speak. You see, there's a difference in how I speak to communicate to you. There's a difference in how I
Right.
communicate with a parent and a different way I communicate with a child. It can't be all the three
Right.
can't be the same.
Right.
So,
Got it.
so I said from my point of view, arts did not help me decide my career. It was my internships which helped me decide my career. Now, if I say this from the point of view of a career counselor who's been in the industry for 13 years, that which subjects helps you decide a career? Is it arts or arts is low? No. What happens is art in today's day, arts is the subject which gives the child a lot of flexibility in trying to understand their strength and weak points.
Right.
If there are 100 students, of which maybe 30 have been very focused right from a very the teens about maybe going into medical or engineering or biomedical science or maybe a chartered accountancy is maybe because their ideal or their understanding at home or understanding what is there for them in the future is very clear. But what
Right.
happens to the rest 70 children? They are not clear, they're not focused, and parents are also
Right.
not very well informed about all the options available.
Right.
Therefore, there's a very high rise of people selecting liberal arts in India now, be it studying in India or abroad, because it gives everybody the flexibility of the subject. So not all
Right.
70 students go for liberal arts. Only 40 go, and the rest 30 they are actually midway. That they know what they want to do, still they are not
Hmm.
very sure, but they don't want to go for arts and they want to go. No field is easy or difficult. It's just that the education
Right.
pattern has become a little easier now in terms that they have opened up a lot of flexibility for students to change after 6 8 months of joining a course. Uh,
Right.
they're getting better informed about the subject area right from school and college days so that it's easy.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
So that's all that
Got
is
it.
there.
Got it, Priyamvada. And okay, now I've got a couple of questions, but I'm gonna like come back to education and you. And you said you started off sometime around 2013, 2014, and you've been doing it actively for about 8+ years now. So, Priyamvada, when you started education and you, what was the company all about? And today, uh, you know, how much have you grown? What is the difference between the education in you that you started and the education in you that is now?
The education I knew that I started back in December 2014 was just a named company where I could maybe provide assistance in both admission and career counseling to students who came to me, and provide
Right.
training in terms of IELTS, TOEFL, GRE, GMAT, and all, because I am a trained trainer. That is
Right.
another thing that I would say I give credit to Rajesh sir, that when I was working with him and whenever these opportunities came knocking at our door for becoming a trainer, he always used to push it down me and say, "Go do it, try." Sir, I will not be able to do it. No,
Right.
try. That's his key word. He always said try. He never
Right.
let me. And obviously, the other push would be my mother, who would say that if he's giving you the opportunity, why are you scared? Go ahead. You fail, you fail.
Right. Right.
But okay, coming back to education, and you started off that plane. I
Okay.
started, I
You were
said,
a one-person company
it was a
at
one
that point.
person company with zero investment. Um,
Right.
I started off from my grandfather's office space, or one
Oh.
room space, just one table, and that's how it started off. But then I
Okay.
saw that the word of mouth was spreading quite wide. I was getting a
Mm-hmm.
lot of queries and all, and I was getting some
Mm-hmm.
opportunities to do certain workshops at different places. So I did
Right.
do all of that, and it was a pleasant year till 2016. It was all pleasant. It
Okay.
was in 2016 when a very close friend, who's now an advisor on education and Ankur, who's
Mm-hmm.
also an IT professional, he had advised that why not I make a website for the company and let's make it a little more wider, and let's try and
Right.
cover entire India, because you provide services abroad, but why not across India?
Right.
Because I was getting queries from students back in Canada and US to teach them, but I was
Mm-hmm.
not spreading in India. So he said, I was very hesitant, and he said, no, you just have to invest a very small bit, and we did it.
Right.
Another advisor on the company, Mr. Ananda Basu, he's a legal person. He supported the
Mm-hmm.
idea, and he said, let's make education and a proper proprietorship firm with all the licenses and all, and expand the
Right.
office infrastructure. We kept the office still at where it was, but we expanded it in different dimensions.
Right.
And since then, it's no looking back.
Okay.
I put an investment obviously into the company because it needed to spread out. And
Mm.
when I say I put in that investment, is all my savings, I put it down on that.
Right.
And that's where I began. And so I would say if the three key people who pushed me into doing this is Ankur, Mr. Anandabasu, and my mother. Again, she
Okay.
was always the key person.
Right.
And my grandfather, he's supportive of my idea. He said, yes, let's take that step.
Mm.
He said, I'll help you do up your accounts and everything as and how you need. So he did.
Right. Right.
So that's where it all started, and slowly I increased the verticals and the dimensions. I made separate
Mm-hmm.
sections for career counseling, a separate admission counseling. Earlier we were only doing overseas, now we do even Indian and overseas for the last 5 years, I think.
Got it.
And we have
Priyamvada, what is the difference between career counseling and admission counseling?
career counseling is helping kids in class 8, 9, 10, 11 understand what subjects can lead them to what kind of career.
Got it.
A lot of children come to me saying that, like you said, they have the strength is, let's say, Hindi, mathematics, and maybe business studies. So, ma'am, can I pull up a career around these three, because I know I can do well in these? And
Mm.
as I said, parents are not very well informed, because their only way of depending on data available is the Google, which is not all the time
Right.
accurate. So they also need a clarity. Another thing that I have been noticing over years is because of this technology and life being too fast, after a certain while, when the children step into class 9 and 10, the bridge between their parents and themselves start becoming a little weak. And I feel that as a career counselor, it's my work to help hold on to that bridge.
Right.
So when they come to me, I openly discuss in front of parents the facts and the figures. I am not
Right.
somebody who likes to give them fake dreams, which
Right.
can really first pull them on a very high and then pull them down on a very low.
Right.
So, whatever is possible, whatever we can try, and what other aspects and probabilities, we put them all on a paper, and then I let the
Hmm.
parent choose. So, that's
Right.
career counseling.
Right.
Admission counseling is like end to end guidance with university shortlisting, documentation for the university applications, helping them with their essays in terms. I don't write essays, by the way. I'm not one of those educationists who likes to write essays at a cost. No, that's not my work.
Right.
My work is proofreading. My work is escalating the essay to a different level by using my set of vocabulary and grammar knowledge.
Right.
Um, Helping them with their CVs, what kind of activity should be added, helping them with scholarship applications. A very, very
Right.
important factor when it comes to people who apply from India to study abroad. The first keyword
Right.
is I need a scholarship, so can we apply for that?
Right. Right. Got it.
And then is the visa application.
Right.
So again, visa, I am not an agent. I cannot do a visa
Okay.
application as in I can't go file the visa for you. I can help you with the rightful documentation, helping you filling up the form. But the student
Right.
has to go submit it themselves. I do not spoon feed. I am there as a guide, as a mentor, as the helper, but not somebody who's going to spoon feed them.
Right.
So that's the difference between career counseling and admission counseling.
Got it, Priyamvada. Thank you. I'm so sorry I interrupted. You were talking about how you expanded and then, you had a separate section for career counseling and then you had a separate section for admission counseling.
Yeah, so I said no, and you did not interrupt. You can say so. I said I build up career counseling, admission counseling, and training. Training is
Right.
test
Okay.
prep
Yeah.
section where
Yeah.
I initially was only teach because I myself teach the English part of all the tests. That's IELTS,
Right.
TOEFL, GRE, GMAT, SAT, PTE, all of it.
Right.
But in 2017, 18, I decided that why not even include the math section.
Hmm.
So I pulled up a lot of maths teachers across India and we started.
Right.
And
Hmm.
in the last few years, we've added more courses to us. That is
Okay.
courses like UKCAT, BMAT, the Indian Aptitude Test. Again, Indian exams, other than the engineering and the medical, other exams also, the other colleges also need an entrance test where children
Right.
are syllabus is not actually a very different syllabus than schoolwork, but the pattern, the format is something that they need to be introduced to. And
Right.
therefore, I understood that there's a demand for classes for those because more than the children, it's the parents who are very hyper cynical about it, and they're more at calm if we can provide. So we do run these crash courses. We run these different kind of courses for these entrance exams. Like we're starting one
Right.
in about a week's time.
Okay.
So I added all that. Right now I have maths faculty, one in Ahmedabad, one in Ireland, and one in that is Dublin, and one sitting in Doha.
Cool. Okay.
The pandemic helped us a lot by saying that let's pull everything online instead of everything has to be face to face. I
Right.
was doing these online classes much before the pandemic, but after the pandemic, it's become more of a demand because it saves a lot of traveling time.
Yeah.
The timings can be erratic. It can be late in the night from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, 10 to 11, or early morning 6,
Right.
7 o'clock when institutions don't open up.
Right.
It's easier for us to take up more students.
Right.
Why is it easier to take up more students is because we generally do not like doing batch or group classes.
Hmm. Okay.
I am more of a person who likes to do a one-on-one class.
Right.
So therefore, it helps us in that aspect.
Right. Okay. Cool.
So,
So, yeah, please continue.
and in the last 2 years, I was planning, basically in 2020-21, I was planning on expanding the fourth vertical of education in you. That's complete profile building of, like LinkedIn,
Hmm.
files, language building, soft skills, and all that. But then
Right.
first the pandemic slowed down the entire process, and then last year was a terrible year for me. Uh,
Okay.
Again, I had a medical accident in May, and I was down on bed for quite a long time.
Okay.
Then once I recovered and I was getting back on my feet, my grandfather felt really ill, and I
Hmm.
could not think anything beyond him, and I had to be in the hospital with him. And then
Right.
he passed away in December, which was a major setback for me, like, of not having him around in person. So
Sorry to
it
hear
took
about.
me like, I would say, from last year May till this year January. It took me uh, the entire process of planning anything has been like snail step. But yes,
Right.
pulled back everything. We back into action and everything from February. We're working and moving really fast because I want that segment to come up uh, better. Uh, Website redesigning was pending since very long, so we put that into action. Our designers and developers, coders, everybody are working back end to try and have it up as soon as possible.
Right.
So I think once the new fresh website comes up, we'll be able to introduce our new verticals in a better manner. And
Got it.
we have some surprises for our existing as well as our oncoming new students that I will not want to leak it out now. And
I did see your website. There was like, I think 10 days to go or 20 days to go, if I'm not
yeah,
wrong.
something like that's coming up. So,
Yeah.
and also in the last uh, 2 years, we onboarded another advisor. Uh, Her official name is Yuhu Tai. She is
Hmm.
half Indian, half Taiwanese who lives in India as a Mandarin teacher. She has
Right.
been a very, very close friend, and she came in on board, and she is really very. She's giving him some fantastic. She's actually taking charge of the profile building portion of the thing, giving us ideas and advice. And so basically, I am a person who does not like to run a show with a one man thing. I run it with a team. I have a team besides my advisors of 12 more people, like 11 more people. I'm the 12th person. And everybody is the owner of this place. Everybody is the boss. Everybody has their own strengths, work around the strengths. If there is a weakness,
Right.
put it out blunt in front. Just because I own education in you does not mean that you have to I have to be the Hitler and the dictator.
Right.
So everybody takes charge. So I that way, looking at it from a team point of view, advisor point of view, I am very laid back and satisfied. I don't have to do anything. They
Right.
all do the needful. But I am the face of education you because parents recognize me. It's my name which floats more than the brand.
Right. This is okay. This is great. I think before that, you said 11 of them, apart from the advisors that you have. Is that right?
Yeah,
The team of 11, and they are on your payroll, or
pay,
is it they're on your
payroll.
payroll? Great. Okay, you've got 11 employees technically. Team of 12. Awesome. So my next question is going to be this, right? For somebody who started off as a one-person company, and then when more often than not, when you're a one-person company, you're the face of your company. People come because of that person, because they go and talk about not your company, but they go talk about Priyamvada. Just go meet Priyamvada, so and so, and then you say that you've scaled your company. Now, I've spoken to people who are in that stage, where they've run their company as a one person company all through. And, they've got amazing return on investment for their time, compared to a lot of other people say, their time is worth 4,000 rupees an hour, and, and all these things. But the problem for them now is they have reached a certain state, but they want to scale up. But then, it's teaching, right? You need to put your time at the end of the day. People are coming for you, but they also want to scale up. And, it's a little catch 22 sort of a situation. So, how did you, where you, I get a sense that you probably would have been in a similar situation. And, how did you end up manage scaling up, and then, convince people to take others' classes as well apart from yours?
Okay, that's very interesting. I'll share this. So, when I say I have a team of 12 people, all these
Hmm.
12 people, or I would say 11 more people, so they are doing different kind of jobs. Uh,
Right.
but yes, I still today have a lot of difficulty in trying to tell a student, please take
Yeah.
Miss X or Mr. X as your English teacher and not me. Students just
Right.
don't want to pay. So
Right.
I tried doing that for a few years, and I saw that my cases were not getting converted because I was stepping down and I was pushing somebody else. So I
Hmm.
changed the entire thought process behind it. I said, fine, I will remain the English faculty, verbal
Hmm.
faculty. I will not step
Hmm.
down. But the
Hmm.
reason I employ the rest of the team on the team members is keeping in mind that they could um, take up my other job profiles. That is
Right.
the operations, the admin control. When I do admission counseling, I need people to run through the applications, to take updates, to help with SOPs and all. I can't. I only have 24 hours in a day. Even if I work 8
Yeah.
hours in a day, it is not going to really help me be able to finish everything. Because
Yes.
we were scaling up, obviously, accounting, transactions, everything was scaling up. We needed a full time person to take care of that. Somebody trusted
Right.
can, run that show.
Right.
So, slowly, gradually, yes, I did pull up people. And initially, delegation was difficult because uh, it is not easy when you run a one man show. You exactly know the tits and the bits of your company, and you've done every job, so you know what's good and what's bad. So trying to teach
Right.
the other person, or I would say not teach, trying to accommodate and adapt to another person's working, which is not going to be the same as
Right.
yours, is
Yeah.
initially at times frustrating, irritating, and it does get your temper on a high. But uh, over years of interaction with a lot of people in the industry and others also, because as I said, I'm a people's person. I love having conversations with people from different realms of life, understanding what they do, how they do, and all. I am not
Right.
a philosopher. I'm not a motivator. I don't come down with motivational speeches and all. But I
Right.
understood something that, when you are when you're hitting your head against the badger, or you're frustrated, or you are irritated or something, is best is to keep your mouth consciously shut. Go
Right.
take a walk, come back,
Right.
and then process the whole thing. I would get better solutions than I would if I used my heated head. And I've been very, very consciously practicing that. And touch wood, that is why my relation with associates in the industry, as well as my team members, with my advisors, with my students who've already been processed and gone through me, is still very strong today. I was a very hot headed, short tempered person, blowing off my top every 2 minutes. But yes, over years, I have pulled myself, tried to calm myself down. I still have to work a lot on
Right.
myself, but slow steps help.
Got it, Priyamvada. There's probably something that I'll come back and ask you on this, which might help somebody else build a team. But at this point, what I want to talk to you about is, you know, it's one thing to be a one-person company, invest nothing, and then take students. You're in a comfortable zone because you're making enough in a certain way. But when you scale up, when you have people as employees, your responsibility is like in a different level altogether. And you got to pay them monthly, and no matter you're interested or not, you need to keep um, making a certain amount of revenue, which involves a lot of things. So which brings me to, how do you manage, or how have you managed to acquire the number of students that you'd always need? Obviously you'd want to do more, but at least the minimum, how you managed to acquire, and what are your marketing strategies? How have you solved the marketing problem for this?
I am the worst marketer possible on this planet, I feel.
Okay.
I don't know marketing. I'm learning
Okay.
as yet.
Okay.
But so whatever little that I do, I don't know it's in the right or the wrong direction. Is I think
Right.
I've been doing a decent job over years because I do get touch with a
Right.
lot of word of mouth, which helps
Right.
build my clientele. At the same time, yes, social media does help. So I have a
Hmm.
fixed designer who takes care of posting at least 20-25 times a month on social media to run the thing.
Right. Right.
I have from 2020 year during pandemic, I really worked on building very strong networking with the associates in this industry and having my connects in
Right.
every city, especially the two-tier cities. And
Hmm.
therefore, I maintain a very healthy and a transparent relation with them. So I get a lot of
Right.
referrals from them as well.
Hmm. Interesting. Okay.
So that's how I run. Uh, this year, I have in mind to do marketing more on the field rather than virtual. That's in
Okay.
mind. Things are taking a turn. We are working towards it. Hopefully, from April, we should be able to start something.
Great. So far, your student acquisition hasn't involved running paid ads on social media?
I don't know how to do that. That's the biggest problem. I want to do it, but the whole point is I did pay Facebook quite a bit of money to do this, but I did
Okay.
not understand. Uh, Look, I am not somebody who understands um, data immediately or easily. I need time to do that. So that means I needed to invest a
Right.
lot of my time to be able to understand how this entire interface works. It's not impossible, but it's something that I need to understand and give time. And I've been too lazy to be able to pull out time from my current schedule to give it. So it's not that I don't get free times. I do get free times, but I would rather read and enrich myself than sit down and watch 20 videos to understand how this works. I know it's not a very healthy thing that I've been doing, but still, so I that is the reason that I haven't done a lot of paid ads and all as yet. But I don't know going forward what's going to happen once the new website is up. Maybe we'll have to do some, and I'll have to
Great.
appoint somebody to do it for me because again, yeah, I'll have to study myself, but I will not be able to take care of it entirely myself. So I'll have to have somebody, And the reason I want to study it is so that I know it's in the right, going in the right direction, and I'm not being fooled.
No, it's great. You know, what's interesting to me is that you've managed to do so much without investing a lot of money in marketing. And you said, you know, of course, you have your methods, like, you know, you maintain relationships with your associates, you know, you get a lot of referrals and all those things. Networking is one of the other things. Um, Great. Um, Priyamvada, just stepping a little back, you know, I wanted to ask you this question when you spoke about this. You know, to all the teachers who have, you know, who are probably listening, you said there was this course about special education, and then, you know, obviously when we talk about special education, the first thing that comes to mind is, oh, are we going to be teaching specially abled children? Then you thought, no, special education is teaching the different methodologies that are available, you know, that a teacher can employ to teach just different normal students, because different people absorb knowledge in different ways. So how, I mean, is there anything that you can share to the, you know, teachers who might be listening as to, you know, say top three methods? First of all, how do you identify what method is needed for which student, and then, you know, what are the most popular methods that are used today by the best of the best teachers?
Uh, Very importantly for a teacher is communication.
Right.
We need to understand as teachers that we need to develop a very comfortable communication pattern with the student,
Right.
so that the student is able to very freely share their concerns, worry, difficulties, weak areas with us without feeling that we can jump on them.
Right.
That's first rule that I follow. Every student who comes to me as a thing, we create a WhatsApp group or whatever. They are more than
Hmm.
free to tell me that, you know, you're going fast, you're going slow. I need a repeat of this. I did not understand this. I need more time. I need less time. They are more than free to say that.
Right.
And at times, students have told me this also, ma'am, the class was very boring. Can you make it interesting from the next time? So I have to think. So they've given me, the child has said the class was boring. Now, maybe for that child it was boring. So how do I go about it?
Right.
There are children who feel that, okay, in the class, we don't want to do practical work. Just give us notes and notes and notes, and all give us all the practical work for homework.
Right.
There are children who say that we please give us. So you have to understand the candidate you're teaching.
Right.
Even if it's a group, take a group class of only the number where you can pull up, speak to every child individually outside the class.
Right.
Don't take up 100 student class where you don't know or the name of the of 80% of the students, other than the
Right.
few who interact on a regular basis with you or sit on the front bench. The rest you don't know. Don't do that. That's waste.
Right.
Instead, just record
Right.
lectures and sell it on YouTube or you know, certain sites.
Right.
The other thing is identifying, actually reviewing the work. If you've taught a lesson A to the child,
Mm.
give the child a homework, or next day take a quick revision of the lesson A that you taught last class, so that
Right.
you are able to review how much has been able to, the child has been able to imbibe.
Right.
If the child is imbibing, right, go ahead. If they you feel that it's not, why not take a step back in your own teaching and review that how are you teaching, can you change something about this so that it's easy for them to imbibe.
Right.
And last but not the least is discipline.
Right.
Instead of yelling, screaming, or being very difficult as a teacher or non approachable, it is better. I generally is, because I teach English, and a lot of these exams have two aspects, a comprehension and a grammar part, or a
Yeah.
language and a comprehension part. So my first point to the child is, you tell me, because it's a, how do you want me to plan your lesson?
Right.
Feel comfortable. They feel that yes, we're listening to them. And at least I take a diagnostic test for each of these tests. I don't care what the diagnostic score is largely. My focus of getting the diagnostic test is to make the student face the exam, the difficulty, the question pattern, the format, everything of the exam, so that on the first day of the class, I can ask them, tell me what all were your difficult areas.
Right.
And I make a note of that so that I plan the lesson plan accordingly.
Right.
So, in short, if I pull it, a teacher has to be very approachable and communicative to the child to be able to handle them in different ways.
Right.
That's
So I think essentially it boils down to, taking some time off and then probably talking to the student and understanding what is their style of learning and then probably adapting
exactly.
according to that is the way to go.
You have to do that. See, going forward, uh, this is off the record, Jagmohan. When you were
Sure.
in school or I was in school, our parents never took us to psychologists or these did not get these tests done to find out if we had ADHD or we were dyslexic or we had X or Y. If we did not
Right.
score marks in exams, they gave us one. Mom would give one spank on the back and say, "Study. You have not studied. You are busy playing outside." Or
Right.
let's say if you are a video game player, your video game's taken for a week, you're grounded.
Yeah.
Concentrate.
Right.
Don't read well.
Right.
Parents would inculcate us the habit of sitting down and reading. If you could not do math
Right.
well, every day 100 questions of maths has to be solved.
Right.
These were things. Our parents never went into the distinction of trying to understand that if we have some. Today's parents are very. It's more than actually trying to figure out how your children is. It's become a competitive market where everybody's going in for these tests, and
Right.
90% come with this ADHD report.
Hmm.
Then my child is a slow learner. And because taking that as an excuse, you are okay with your child's performance. A child is also having a gala time and saying, oh, I can't do well. I'm not performing well because I have a certain issue.
Right.
Certain people, yes, definitely have who are on an extreme. But
Yeah.
out of these 90% of the students, I would say 40 are genuine people who actually have a difficulty. The rest is bogus.
Right.
It's just an excuse to say up in the market or show a face in the market saying that if my child has not come first in the class or because he's so and so. If our
Right.
parents also did that, na, then though I think medically doctors would only be the medical field would only be the most running field और बाकी सब तो हम लोग का तो कोई field का value नहीं होता.
Right. Right. I mean, these things would have always been there, right? Even from our days. It's just now that, there's a proper jargon to it and
It's
proper.
it's
Uh,
not a trend. It's like you don't have an Apple product. How?
right.
How is it possible that you are a upper middle class person and not have an Apple product? You have a smartphone. You're still using a keypad phone. How the hell is that possible? You don't belong to this community.
Right.
That's what it's become. These moms groups and these parent groups of schools and all that is all on WhatsApp and all this is all is discussed there. I have friends who have kids.
Right.
Again,
Got it.
off the record, share you a very quick thing. My best friend,
Sure.
he's got a 2-year-old
Hmm.
kid, barely
Okay.
2 years, few months. His
Right.
and another friend, very close in the same group. Also, the kids were different by 20 days. So this
Hmm.
other friend's daughter, she very quickly started walking and talking and a lot of things. Whereas this best
Okay.
friend's son took time to do that.
Okay.
She got panic
Okay.
and she took the child to a neurologist, a pediatric neurologist,
Okay.
and ran through all the
Okay.
tests to see if the child's brain is growing in the right.
Wow. Okay.
I said, means I said, do you realize that just to calm your own consciousness because of the
Yeah.
competition that you are living with, you put the child through so much of radiation?
Exactly. Yeah. People. Yeah. That's another thing. Seriously, the radiation. Yeah.
So why did you put that? If today also a doctor says an MRI, we think 5 times before getting it done because we know it's a certain amount of radiation which we are going through, which is
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
equal. But still, we at this age have to get it done because obviously, if there is a
Yeah.
medical reasoning, we still question the doctor 5 times and that's the last resort we do it. And you put a
Yeah.
child of about 1.5 years because he was slow in developing.
Oh, 1.5 years.
Yeah.
Age was 1.5 years.
She did all of that last year. The only reason was I could have maybe made a change is because I was stuck on bed. She was not being able to come meet me, and if I was all good, I could have gone to her house, maybe got some thing down her throat and head to understand
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
I could not do it on the phone. There's a limit. So she went through all of
Right.
this.
Right. Right.
So
I'm sure, as part of what you do, if you can probably, do something. See, at the end of the day, people just need one structured validation, right? Maybe, as a career counselor or, based on the credibility that you've built, you could probably, do a soft validation kind of a thing before they take the extreme step of putting the kids through all of these
not
things.
possible. It's been trying for so many years. End
Okay.
result is parents hate me for doing that.
Okay. Okay.
See, if I have over 13 years counseled about 3,000 plus students,
Right.
there is at least 25% of these number of students who don't want to even see my face and never recommend me, students or parents, because they
Mm,
haven't liked what I said. Because I said something truthful which was not taken well by them.
right.
And I have 75% of them who really like my way of dealing with them. They're happy, they're content, they do refer more. I'm happy with that.
Right.
But it's just that
But
it's
yeah,
just
good, good.
yeah, it's just that we are uh, how do I put this? It's just that I don't have that degree, that medical degree to say that okay, do not
Yeah,
your
yeah,
child. So that's the reason I lack of not being able to explain or put it across to parents that don't do this. Whereas
right.
school counselors, school psychologists who have a degree in all of that, they can push the parents and convince them to go for it.
Right. Unfortunately, they're not. They're probably doing something that'll benefit them in a certain way. But all said and done, whatever you said off the record, there's an option for me to mark here. So I'm just adding a marker here. We just
Yeah.
started the marker when you said that. I know this is, totally because this is quite a sensitive thing, and I'm sure but it's an interesting insight. But now that we've spoken about that, I've just got a question here, Priyamvada. Like, what is your approach towards uh, these, let's call them special students or differently abled students? Do you have a set approach, or do you even take them as your students, or, how does it work?
I definitely take them as my students. Why should I not? They're humans. They're as good as me.
Right,
Just because, fortunately, my movements are all okay, that does not mean that I'm not a special child. I am sure I am also. When I say I don't
right.
understand numbers very well, maybe I have some kind of a special requirement there. So I feel they are
No,
not.
probably, let me rephrase the question. What I meant by, do you even take them? Do you even, because I thought, okay, probably, we're not well equipped to handle the students. You don't think of education you like that. You think that you can do a good job on them as well.
See, okay, I am not trained to be able to take up the special children. Okay.
Right,
Uh,
right,
So whenever I get a query for a special children, I get into a little longer call with the parent to understand
right,
exactly what is the entire scene of the picture like.
right,
Therefore, based on that, I decide if I'm able to do it. See, if some child is disabled to hearing or talking, I do not understand sign language. So I would recommend them to go to somebody who understands sign language.
Right.
But if a child is physically disabled for any reason, I have no
Right.
reasoning not to take that child.
Right.
If and if the parent wants me to intervene, see again, there are special children counselors. They're separate who understand
Right.
psychology of these parents and children, and they deal with them differently. Uh,
Right.
but I do get a couple of cases in a year where, in fact, I have one from Qatar. Uh, they're twins. One brother
Okay.
is fine, and the other is a requirement. But the
Hmm.
thing is that I am trying to help them in the best possible manner.
Right.
I am not ethically doing a right job, I know, but I do this all. When I do such cases, I either do not charge a commercial at all because I'm not
Right.
ethically doing it properly, or if I
Right.
am pressurized to charge commercially, I charge the minimist possible.
Got it. Got it.
I feel, and when you ask me this question, I'll add on to this also.
Yeah.
The need of career counseling in today's day is spread wide and across. Career counselors can be afforded by only flourishing schools, and career counselors privately can be afforded by middle class and higher middle class set of parents. But the lower
Right.
class also needs this help, especially people who work in our houses as they are educating their children. The children also need help.
Right.
I do help such people.
Got it.
Uh, I do get oldest to oldest staff members bringing their children, their brothers' children, and all. They talk to me. Obviously, they take a time. I try to do at least one or two such cases in a month where I pull out time from my entire schedule and sit down with them. And those children need more time because they're hesitant to, they've never spoken about it, so they're hesitant. Their parents don't understand English at all. They need to explain the same thing three times in the vernacular.
Right.
So I do that, and they're all no charged. No, nor do I put it under the CSR category, nor do I say that I'm going to charge. They are all, I would say, things that I can do towards the society and the community which has built me. They are people
Got it.
who have helped me grow up. Somebody's been my
Right.
driver, somebody's been my cook, somebody's been something. Because of them, I have had a very smooth, flawless growing up.
Right.
There is no shame or harm in helping these children. And I don't even use these as my marketing tools of taking pictures with them and putting them up on social media. Neither do I want to encash on them, nor do I want
Right.
to make them uncomfortable.
Got it. Got it, Priyamvada. Priyamvada, does it need special training? I mean, of course, you said that look, as long as you can bring in the desired outcomes that the parents are expecting, I think that's what's gonna probably show you if you're qualified or not. Which I'm assuming you are. You've shown your outcomes, and hence, you're probably helping them. And even as a person, I'm sure you're not going to be able to do that if you feel you're not doing the right thing. So you said that you're not trained. I'm sure a lot of teachers aren't yet trained, or there is not a structured thing to approach this. Let's say in India, but is there any special change that you have to equip yourself with a special skill or a tool, or is it just to do with being patient and just bringing the human side to it? Is that about it?
See, besides patient and human psych, you definitely need a little more of
Specific skill set,
exactly. That's because,
right?
uh, as I said, people who don't understand or cannot hear us or cannot talk like us, the sign language. That's a very
Right.
important requirement.
Right.
Secondly, if um a child has autism or is dyslexic or something like that, to be able to guide them that what all can be their career, so that even if they are left behind in a big batch of students, it's okay.
Right.
Basically, for these children, more than telling them academic career sets, we need to teach them vocational career sets where they can make do with their career.
Right.
We need to bring in, and see, India is still not very equipped with providing a lot of skill sets for these people. Yes, the Indian government is doing a very good job, but private institutions don't have it. And it's not
Yeah.
very easy for children from very good households to just go and join a government institute because of the
Right.
ambience there. Because
Right.
then
Right. Right. Yeah.
government, if they have, our government has done a good job of providing these skill sets and all, but at the same time, because they lack in being able to appoint multiple trainers and teachers, and teachers have to be very empathetic towards these kind of children, not sympathetic.
Right.
There's a difference
Yeah.
between
Yeah.
sympathy and empathy. So these children don't want sympathy.
Right.
If you
Right.
put
Right.
sympathy, it's the biggest blunder that you're doing.
Yeah.
It's more about being empathetic towards them. They can be slow in
Right.
understanding or doing a task. So that's
Right.
okay. But you have to understand it from their point rather than always think that, oh, I'm a teacher, I have to teach from 9 to 5, I have to cater to 100 students. How do I manage? I can't give so much of time. That is your,
Right.
what do you say,
A
discredit.
choice that a teacher
No,
has to make whether you.
no, this is a teacher's discredit. If you are
Right.
teaching special children and you have this kind of an attitude, it's a discredit to the teacher.
Right. 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 Of course. Priyamvada, if I'm not sure, but I'm going to ask you this question. If you're okay to answer, you can. But I think this might help some people out there. There are two kinds of special needs, right? One to do physically, one to do mentally. If you can, share a specific condition in both the cases without taking any names, if that's okay, and what did you do on a high level to kind of help them? Like, how did you approach the problem,
See,
and what is the solution
I
that
have
they
helped somebody
ended up
with
with?
a physical special need.
Okay.
The person was paralyzed down the diaphragm, so
Okay.
was stuck on a wheelchair and all. But for that
Right.
person, the brain level worked as good as us.
Okay.
The only requirement was for the person was that uh, for me, movement is difficult, so I need a course where I can just sit and study. I'm ready to go to
Right.
that person has gone to a university in UK
Okay.
on a
Mm-hmm.
wheelchair. We had to
Mm-hmm.
take special permissions initially for them to be able to have an attendant to run the wheelchair around. But
Right.
eventually, the parents have been able to buy the child an electronic wheelchair, so now the attendant is also not needed.
Right.
And has finished doing the undergraduate degree that she went for, and is now
Right.
working from home as a freelance consultant and is earning a very
Wow.
good income.
Great. Great.
So, but when you talk about a child with a special need, where it concerns the mental affect special need, I haven't really.
Priyamvada, sorry. I'm just going to intervene a little bit. Just one more question with respect to. So, your role in that case was to help him choose a career that would suit his condition. Is that correct?
Yeah, suitor condition in the case is that she had restrictions in movement.
Right. Right.
You needed a university which was equipped to having a wheelchair access.
Oh, that also. Got it. Got it. From it involves both. You played a role in both career as well as admission counseling as well.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I played a role in both.
that's just what I wanted to
Yeah,
clarify.
yeah, I
Got it.
did that. But when you ask me about a child with a mental special need,
Yeah.
I haven't really helped somebody hands on. Again, I know
Right.
somebody in my close vicinity who had an issue with speaking and hearing, has a hearing aid, so can hear, but still the speech is not very clear. Uh,
Okay.
I haven't really played a very big key role, but
Mhm.
The child did the class 12 of at the age of 21 or 22, if I remember. The school really supported
Hmm.
him very well. And then
Okay.
the child was not ready to go to a college because was not mother was not concerned about the performance or the number of years a child would take to complete the course. It was more of
Right.
how the society and the students in that college would accept. Because we don't
Right.
have
Right.
special colleges, private colleges in India, where they give benefit to, what do you say, special children. It's a mixed,
Especially able children.
yeah,
Yeah.
especially able children.
Right.
It's a mixed crowd. So the mother was
Right.
more concerned. So therefore, they decided is to get him a bachelor degree done through IGNOU. So I just helped them pick up the courses which would be easier for the child, where he will not have to rote learn something. Could
Right.
practically, because his brain worked, if you could practically understand. He was very good with computers and designing and all. So I gave him courses which could help him build a career there. Uh,
Great.
he finished the IGNU course in about 5 years, a 3 year course. That's fine.
Okay.
Now he works with his mother. Mother's a home baker, and he takes care of his mother's part of the business by looking after the orders and all which come through WhatsApp, calculating, sending out invoices, and doing social media marketing. And yes, another thing with this child was he was very good at playing. What that's game? That's a ball game, you know. Not volleyball. It's not even throw ball. What is it called? I'm not getting the name of that sport. He's very good at playing it. So give me a
Does
minute.
it have to do with? Is it called squash?
No, 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 no,
They
no,
hit the
no,
ball
no,
against.
no, 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 no. Wait, I'll just tell you. That kid is on my Facebook. So if I pull it up, it's a bowling league. Bowling.
Bowling. Okay, got
I
it.
said that's
Got
something
it.
to do with ball
Yeah.
and roll ball. I was just not getting the
Yeah.
word bowling. So he's very good at it. And in
You know
fact,
what? Right.
no, go ahead, say something. You were saying something. Go ahead, say it.
No, no, go ahead, go ahead. I will totally come back to that. Got it.
Yeah, so it was a bowling. So this kid that I was talking about, he's very good at it. So
Hmm.
parents really encouraged him. And
Right.
coincidentally, luckily, this kid found really people who would empathize with him, not sympathize, at the club, who let
Right.
him play
Right.
with him, understand him, that yes, okay, there's certain things that he's slow in. Let him interact and mingle with him. Today, this kid
Right.
plays with he is one of the strongest players at the club, and he goes to Bangkok and a
Right.
lot of other places to play as a part of the club, and is doing
Right.
wonders.
Right.
He enjoys life.
Great.
He has a set of his friends who do not consider him different or
Different. Right.
sides with him.
Right.
They consider him equal. Today, his mother, whenever I speak to her, she says that I am happy for wherever he's reached. He's independent enough to be able to take care of himself,
Himself.
and she's
Right.
given him that freedom. She's taught it. She's not been like the mother hen to go with him to Bangkok, and maybe she went for the first time, but nowadays he goes with
Right.
a bunch of these club friends, and they take care of each other, and I'm happy.
That's wonderful.
Yeah,
And you know what, Premada, since you are, you are the person people come to from, to get help about choosing careers. You won't believe me. I'm not sure. You might already know it, being a career counselor. I came across. So this was another podcast, right? You won't believe the business here. So this is people teach kids become better at playing video games. Now, if you happen to have parents come and tell you, hey, you know what, my son or daughter is always playing video games, is there a career that can be made out of it? Oh, there happens to be one. And you know what is the career? So, I mean, cricket, football, and all those things, how you can make a career out of it and stuff like that, right? Eventually, you've got prize money, you participate in stuff. But it so happens that the video game market is like 100x bigger than all these physical sport markets, because people don't have to be physically fit, right? You don't have any physical requirements, you can just sit on the couch and play games. But doesn't mean that it needs a lot of intelligence, of course. And there's a huge gap between the amount of students that there are and the number of trainers. So if you happen to so there are two types of careers that can come out of this. Somebody can become a trainer, and somebody can actually become a sports person. So yeah, this is called e-games or something like that. I will also put you in touch with this person, and you can
Nice.
probably send some kids his way.
I am always open to learning new things, coming across new challenges. I don't like a very bored life. I need to have something
Great.
challenging which is making me jump in my seat and till makes me uncomfortable. A comfortable life is
Right.
boring. I need something
Yeah.
which is uncomfortable, which gets butterflies in my stomach, keeps me upright. Else, I'll be a lazy person lying on a couch with a book and reading for hours with multiple cups of coffee. I would be like that. If somebody gives me a comfort life, that's what is my comfort life.
No, I get it. And when it comes to books, there's a question in the end that I'm going to ask. But as of now, I have a couple more questions.
Mm-hmm.
I know. So, Priyamvada, my next question, right, is got to do with, obviously, something to do with your expertise, and also a little connection to your own way of choosing whatever you're doing now. You said that period while you did your arts degree, where you worked for a year, gave you some clarity. First of all, you took you got that exposure about something apart from studying, and therefore you got a chance to do something.
Correct.
And because you did something, you had a choice, or you figured what you liked or what you may not have liked, and you luckily figured something that you liked, right? And then you chose a career, which is a very organic approach. But is this the way everybody choose? No, because probably they don't have the exposure, or they don't like whatever they're exposed to. So it's a two-part question. For somebody who's probably having young children, what can they do from early in the kids' life to expose them to a lot of different things, so that at least by the age of 20, the kids are in a situation to figure what they want, what they don't want. And for those who are already, who've completed the degree but have no idea what they do, you also said that you encourage some of them to take liberal arts. So if you can just elaborate on these two things.
See, if you ask me, how can parents be a role in from an early child or an early age in the child's life to help them choose their career is, I
Yeah,
would say, uh, back when we were students or I was in school, the limit of exposure was very limited.
yeah,
But
yeah.
today, there is no limit for exposure. Uh,
Right,
there are kids in school can do internships, job shadowings. So if they have an interest towards a particular subject, the child should explore that. The parent should encourage the child to explore it before making it a very focused career option, to understand the realms. They can talk to
right,
industry people about it to understand that what is the journey. See, I want to become a doctor. I hear this from a lot of people. But what
right,
happens? Ultimately, they are not able to do it. Why? Is because they are not able to do that vigorous, hard study for those 4 5 years that they have to. It is a lot difficult.
right,
But it's just a feel good high thing that they have, that oh, you become a doctor, you have a name of a doctor, you earn a lot of money. They see an already established doctor who's been in the practice for 30 years and say, oh, he's earning a lakh a day. If I do that, I can also earn 2 lakhs a day. That's what their thought process is. Please bring the
right,
child out of that money mind thing. Tell the child, do
right,
a little homework on it. You have a
right,
lot of videos online. You have online basic courses which give you an idea about the approach of these courses. Job
right,
shadowing, internships, workshops, summer schools. There are a lot of things that children can do these days.
right.
Explore before your child decides. And for the parent to ensure that the child starts exploring, I would say you can start as early as class 6 and 7.
Wow. Okay.
Because children
Great.
are maturing much, much ahead of what we were.
Yeah.
We were dafts when we were 13, 14, 15. Ask us what career, nahi pata. Abhi class 10,
Or engineer or a doctor.
class
Just three of
boards,
those
class
things.
10 ka boards was what was a bigger.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was a big thing. Yeah, right.
But today's children, they are thinking 10 years in advance and they think crazily. So why not give them the benefit of the doubt?
Right. Priyamvada, the most, the thing that stood out for me was the job shadowing thing. Is that even a proper organized thing in India?
Oh yes, it
Like,
is. It is. It is.
do corporates allow job shadowing?
Some of them, it's not. I would not say that it is a very well practiced, common thing. But yes, there
Mm-hmm.
are a lot of places, institutes, especially the
Right.
startups, which offer these kind of option. Therefore, I would say is instead of jumping and looking at, oh, my child should only go to the best four in the world, look at even startups. They, in fact, they provide you a more realistic approach than these big companies. In a big
Right.
company, a child gets lost within the, I would say, the teetering of the company policy and doing paperwork and get
Right.
he is bored, does not get a very clear picture. But in a startup, when he is looking at like, because generally you see in India startups, initially the start is from one room place or one small
Yeah.
flat of two rooms, and that's where they start
Right.
from. So it's a small
Right.
place infrastructure wise, so all the discussions done can go into the child's ear, which can help the child
Right.
think at different perspectives. But in a big
Right.
MNC, because of different wings and departments, a child can only in one vacation only look at certain introductory bits of a certain department, cannot ever get into the
Right.
depths. Because obviously he or
Right.
she will not be allowed to sit in bigger conference meetings just to observe. That's not what India still encourages. Or I don't think it's even
Right.
encouraged abroad.
Very interesting. Um, Priyamvada, the next question, was for somebody who's already done a degree and, was no idea. You're talking about liberal arts as a place, probably, where they can further go and figure
Yeah.
out. Like,
So
can
what
you
happens is,
talk a little bit more about that?
yeah. So if till class 12, mid,
Hmm. Hmm.
child is still indecisive about what subject should I take, I like this, I like that, what all do I do, don't do, a lot of things. Uh,
Right.
and wants a very peculiar combination of subjects, which these
Right.
standalone colleges and universities do not generally provide. So, and wants to
Right.
stay in India, then why not go for liberal arts? Because here, the first 6 months is an interdisciplinary course where you will be allowed to get into the depth of each course, you like it or not like
Okay.
it, or what are the options available in a little more detail. It's not
Right.
textbook based classes, it's more of lecture based, is to seminar based classes. And these six
Right.
to 8 months, the child, taking the help of their teachers, mentors, professors, is able to understand and make actually an informed decision.
Right. But these disciplines are within the realm of arts itself.
Yeah, no,
The first
yeah,
six
no.
months.
Nowadays, if I say it's no more liberal arts, is no more restricted to the word arts.
Okay.
There are subjects like mathematics also, and there are subjects like biochemistry and biology also, environmental
Okay.
sciences, everything. Liberal arts is
Okay.
basically the option of you being having the liberal choice, the liberal opportunity to be able to pick up your major and minor.
Great. Okay. So if you happen to figure out within 6 months, let's say the student is figure out, this is what is the interest and stuff like that. And then what happens next? Like, can they come out and go join elsewhere and then
Yeah,
do it? Or is it the continuation of the same?
nobody wants to take it out because next year where will they go and join? They've lost the year. What explanation do they put? So these colleges,
Right.
after 6 8 months, you can take up your major and study in that college, in that particular department of that college, and qualify with the proper degree.
Oh, okay, got it. Very interesting.
And there are
I was not aware of this.
certain children who have a combination that I want to do psychology major, but I don't know what my minors are. We even encourage them to go for these liberal arts because not that we are not sure if they want to study psychology or not. It's because we encourage them to
Right,
have an option to pick up minors is like English and mass comm, English and French.
right, right.
So it depends. So basically, liberal arts as a subject is new to India, but it's a very old following back in the US. India started following it about 10 years back, and it's become very popular in the last few years because it's giving the children the freedom and flexibility.
Yeah, yeah,
It is not restricting them that you have to choose right now because they might, because these kids, see, they are mature, but they are very undecisive because they have been hearing in their family last 4, 5, 6 years agenda of your career is money, 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 money. You have to earn a very good salary, get a very good job, get a very, there will be a handful which say that okay, we would want to do a research, or they're clear on how they want to frame it up, but most of them are very confused. They're like, I have
right,
my interest in English, but you see, if I do this, I would have a better career prospect.
right.
And even if I tell them the career prospect, a lot of these children don't want to believe me. Not because they don't trust me.
Okay.
They feel, oh, this lady, she's very successful, so she's only giving me gyan. But this is not what no, this is not what I've heard from my relative or my friends or seniors. They say the picture is different.
Right,
So why not I go and try
right,
it?
right, right, right. Got it. Got it, Priyamada. I mean, this is great stuff. Priyamada. My final, aspect of this podcast, or the question that I'm going to ask about is for all those people, who are running a one-person company. This is for them. Maybe a two-part question, maybe. Especially in the career counseling, or I see that there is a strong connection between test prep and career counseling, right? They both go hand in hand, and I've seen some businesses also start up, like just like how you're starting your fourth pillar, which is about building profiles on LinkedIn, something to do with professional side to it. And you also clearly mentioned, I'm not a visa consultant.
You are
There are
frozen.
businesses, where they are IELTS trainers for people who want to like immigrate, and then with immigration comes, the
Yeah, sorry.
visa consultation as well.
Yeah, you got no, you got frozen. I just heard in the part is some people
Oh,
who
okay.
might do career counseling.
Yeah, so people who are in career counseling, there's a link between test prep and career counseling. And then, you said you've got your three pillars. One is career counseling, admission counseling, test prep, and then the fourth one is helping people on the professional front. And then, but there are also other companies, who are into test prep, but then, they get into visa consultation, they help people with getting their PR and stuff like that. But my question is, for people who are into career counseling, they most probably start off as a one person company, and then especially test preps, right? And then they get into a situation where they become the brand, they become the reason why people are coming, and then they cannot offload the teaching to somebody else. And but then you decided that, okay, fine, you know what, I'm not going to be able to outsource the teaching, people are coming for my teaching, but then I can outsource all the other stuff. And then you built about 11, now you've got about 11 people working on your payroll. Now my question is two part. One is, how do you go about building this team, from a hiring perspective, from a culture perspective? What are the things to look for? And what are these 11, are these 11 people in 11 different roles? Which is the one that has the most weightage? If you can throw some light on these things, please.
See, as I mentioned earlier, delegating or offloading my other responsibilities uh, was difficult
Right,
initially. So I had thought of hiring more trainers and taking care of all the bit otherwise. But when I saw that it was not working in my case, so it was a
right,
very, I would say, a practical decision, but it a very hard decision for me to start pulling up people to start working. Um,
right,
being from the cultural background of being a Marwari, the first thing that comes to your head is let's manage your finances first. So I started with that step of hiring an accountant first who would take care of my money matters. And
Right.
I said, my teachers have been people who have been grounded on this platform or on this in this world, that tons and tons of years of experience. It comes from the grapevine of the family. So it
Right.
was in my blood that I have to be very transparent and I have to be on time. I cannot afford not to pay a teacher or any of my staff or anybody on my payroll or anywhere I have to pay beyond a certain date. So the
Right.
deadline
Right.
is, let's say, second of a month. I have to make sure that the payment is done on the 30th of the previous month. I am
Right.
not, I don't want anybody sending me a message or calling me up saying that the payment has not reached them. If it's a technical
Right.
glitch, that's different.
Right. Right.
Otherwise, please, payments have to be very clear. And so I needed somebody to take care of that part. So the first thing is I appointed an account.
Hmm. Got it.
And then then I slowly, gradually, I started hiring interns, to be more precise, because I was
Right.
not sure if I would be able to, what kind of people I will be able to work with, what kind of people will be able to work with me. So after
Right.
a permutation, combination, and let goes, I was able to create the team that I have right now. Uh,
Right.
I did not go through any special channel of choosing them. I just use the real way that people do it through these online
Right.
portals. And yeah, I also, another thing that what I was in my mind as a principle was to not to involve my family members into the business.
Right. Right.
When I say that, I mean to say that I didn't want any family member to be a part of my business, because
Right.
there are times when things can go bad, or a student feedback comes in very negative, and you have to take charge as a face, as a founder of the company, because your brand, your product, a lot of things get at stake. At that time, you can't be polite, you have to
Yeah.
be stern. And with having relations into the business would make things complicated. So I also
Right.
decided not to have friends as my employees.
Got it. Priyamvada, I'm sorry if I'm, gonna, because this is like, I just can't stop myself from asking this question. From a business perspective, you said, see, the Marwadi community are known for their business acumen, right? I mean, like all the businesses that are run, a lot of people. And the reason I'm asking you this question is, and it's all family businesses, they are family people. And interestingly, you're talking about not having family people for a very practical reason, of course. So, I mean, have you consulted or discussed this particular topic with anybody from your, circle, or was this just an individual choice and you're pretty comfortable with
When you say that, I have seen family businesses, and I've seen rifts and drifts in relations because of the business.
it?
Not every
Right,
time,
right,
but
right,
yes, I have seen some of them. Uh, as I said, from I had a wonderful childhood, and my mother taught me to maintain my relations. So it
right,
takes hours and days to develop a relation, but it takes 30 seconds to break off a
right.
relation.
Yeah, yeah, right,
Uh, so I was always taught to value my relations.
right,
So they are my asset.
right,
Again, as a business person, I evaluate the whole thing. What asset
right.
do I want? An asset as a relation where I can approach
Yeah,
people
yeah,
at the time of my need, or an asset in terms of business where things can any day go out of hand.
got it.
And another thing which made me take this decision is when you said family business, yes, my mom's grandfather started a business which was followed by my grandfather.
Right,
But my uncle did not join it. He made a picture
right,
for himself outside.
right, right,
Nobody joined that business. In fact, my grandfather tried to pull me to the business, but I never showed an interest.
right, right,
But yes, I was taking care of his entire finances and or be it of the business or of his person and everything. And I
Right.
somewhere noted, there were no drifts, but I somewhere noted there were certain family members who at times were uncomfortable that I was handling them. What if
Hmm.
I messed it up?
Right.
Therefore, these are small, observations of mine which made me understand that no, I don't want a family. I don't
No,
even
I
want,
think I think.
yeah.
Sorry. Please, please.
I said these are small observations which made me want that I don't want my relations to be a part of my business, be it friends or
Right.
family. I, in fact, don't want my mother to be a part of my relation also. She can be my mother. She let her be my mother. Let her be my moral support. Let her be my advisor.
Right.
Let her handle my own personal finances. But the business is business. I need to handle it. I need to understand its finances, what has to be done where. I would do it.
Got it.
I
No,
take
I think your answer is pretty
God,
crystal clear.
I take advice from my father about how to run my business finance. Why? Not because he's a great financial advisor, but he is somebody who's very smart with being able to save taxes, not illegally. In the legal way, he's able to teach me methods of saving a lot of taxes
Okay.
by being in the right way. Nothing off the books,
Yeah.
everything
Of
on the
course.
books because I want to be transparent. I never want a single thing on my name because of which the whole thing can go off.
Yeah.
But so I take advice from him when I need it. But again, neither are they on the books to be able to
Right.
decide for me or do anything.
Got it. Um, you know, I got my answer when you said that, look, yeah, you have a choice whether to involve a family member or not. But then, you just have to ask yourself this one question. Do you want them more of what? Assuming that things may take a wrong turn, what aspect of that person do you value more? The relationship aspect or the contribution that they can do as a business? I think therein lies the answer to that question of mine. So yeah, that was perfect. And of course, all the other things that you followed up the answer with also made total sense. And now, I mean, Priyamvada, please, if you can continue from that point, can I help you?
Yes, please.
So you were talking about you first hired your accountant,
Yeah,
and
I
then
have an
you were talking
accountant,
about
and then with
you were
me,
saying you didn't want to involve your family. You
so
you were you
I
were
didn't
doing
want a family, so I appointed an accountant officially who would take care of my
right,
finances and tell
right,
me if there were issues with it. He
right.
being an outsider questioning me about certain transactions is acceptable rather than a family member
Yeah,
questioning me and the tone not suiting and me blowing my top. Secondly, is with time and need, I started hiring one person at a time, initially as interns.
right,
And then when
right,
these interns got set and I got used to them after a lot of permutation combination, I gave them an offer. I
right,
My work is to make them comfortable that they should work for me.
right,
So I don't give them a anytime I hire somebody, I don't give them a proposal or a job offer.
right, right, right,
I said I would want you to be a part of my family team of at education in you.
right,
Tell me what can you do?
right,
How do you want to do? Do you want to do or not?
right.
And I suppose the if you ask me where did you learn these tricks and techniques is I haven't learned them in a textbook or a class.
Right. Right.
Traveling across so many places and interacting with a lot of customer care people, uh, as I said, taking care of all banking needs, talking to bank officials, uh, meeting a lot of different type of people has make I generally it's not that I go with a hammer and tong to be able to extract things out of everything. It's just that I may look that when I'm having a conversation, I am lost in on my own world. It's not like that. It's just that basically I am pulling up whatever I'm hearing, I am observing and grasping everything around me, and then I
Right.
do have this habit of overthinking when I come back, and I overthink, and then I filter out whatever has to.
Got it. And what are the, so you have an accountant. What are the different roles that
I have
have
an
you created for
accountant.
education?
I
Yeah.
have an accountant. I have designers for the social media. Somebody who takes care of the entire social media manager. I have
Right.
somebody who takes care of the entire IT.
Okay. The website and stuff.
Not only the website, we also provide, because we are a test prep center, so we have to provide online
Oh, right.
and
The
all.
diagnostic tests and all the stuff
I
that
have
follow.
all
Right.
that. I have an SOP team of 2 people.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And besides that, I have 3 more people who work as, if I actually give them the designation, they work as my right, left, and I don't know what. I think
I
right
got it.
and right leg, left hand, another left leg has to come.
Right.
They work basically, they take care of the admissions part, they take care of things that I am not able to do. So they are on
Right.
my WhatsApp connected. So if even if I have no access to my laptop or something, I just drop them a message and they take care of whatever has to be taken.
Got it. Got it.
Communicating with associates
And
and all that.
when you said you have a couple of SOP people, you meant the statement of purpose,
Yeah,
writing that
it's even
essay,
a
right?
purpose editing team, people who have to see
Editing
the
team,
date. See,
right?
it's not, again, in the peak season, we get 20, 30 of essays a day to correct.
Wow.
And
Okay.
deadlines are 24 hours, 48 hours. It's not possible that I can read through it. But yes, there's one rule that I have learned and I have put
Uh-huh.
into act in the last 4 years.
Right.
All customer interaction, be it with a parent, associate, student, has
Right.
to be through me.
Right.
Every document sent out from my office to anybody, even to you, if tomorrow something has to be sent, has
Right.
to be looked by me. Doesn't matter how busy, I have to glance it. If I haven't glanced it and somebody has sent it out, they're doomed for the day. And then I'm like strict. See, I have to always, at the back of my mind, always maintain the integrity, the visibility, and the reputation of my brand and my name.
Right. Right.
It's taken me 13 years to make a name for myself and reach where I have.
Yeah.
One
Yeah.
slip and everything can just get washed away.
Got it.
So I can't afford that.
Yeah. Makes sense. Got it, Premada. So I think I've probably come to the end of all the list of things that I wanted to just talk to you about. Just one light question to conclude this show with. I remember you saying that, if given a chance, you'd sit around and read all day with a cup of coffee. So, if at all you did that of late, when you did have the time, what are the 3 books that you'd recommend to the audience? Something that impacted you in a very positive way.
Uh, there is a book called Blood Oil. Um, can I just go get the book so that I can tell you the author's name, because I don't generally remember.
Totally, please. Yeah,
Give me a minute.
please. Yeah, sure.
Okay. The first book that I would recommend is something called Blood and Oil.
Blood and Oil. Okay.
Yeah. It's a book on Muhammad bin Salam's conquest for global powers. So it is
Ah, right.
basically a book which I'm still reading, and I would recommend a lot
Okay.
of people to read. Why?
Hmm.
Because this book is talking about how the man overnight had a lot of thoughts about how he would make up plans overnight about attacking global powers. And you need to have that kind of a gut to actually
Right.
think and next morning share it with your people and say, let's go do this.
Right.
The other book I would recommend is another very nice book. If you look at the book, you will find out it's a very common book. Hina Artist. It's by
Okay.
Alka Joshi.
Okay.
Maybe it's not a very philosophical book, or does it? It talks about a lady
Right.
who from a henna artist started as a very common henna artist,
Right.
went up and up and up and up and became the person of the high society. Okay,
Right.
and she
Right.
knew all the gossips now. And
Hmm.
one slip, everything got washed.
Right.
And the next thing that happened is she again restarted,
Okay.
not as a henna artist, but the from the learnings that she had acquired
Right. From
over
the
the
gossips.
years. And also, another good thing is this lady, she had no education as such.
Is that a non-fiction book? Is it a
Yes.
biography?
No,
Oh,
it's not a
okay.
biography. It's actually not a it's I would not say it's a biography as such. It's actually a prose book. It's like a prose. Just create
Okay.
vibrant characters and
Got it.
um a lot to do with the Indian culture and the Indian society and all. She over years as a henna artist, whatever she learned, she actually she knew how to run a business without knowing how to run a business.
Right.
She
Right.
started adding things to being a henna artist along with the demand of her clients
Hmm. Right.
with very limited resources.
Right.
Alka
Right.
Joshi's written three books. This is the first book. There are two more sequels to it of this characters spoken in this book, but they're different stories. I've read the
Okay.
second one also. It's I think the Jaipur Queen. The third one is the Paris Perfumist. It's still not out available, so I am waiting.
Yeah,
And
I can see that.
the other book is Attitude is Everything by Jeff Hill.
Right.
I have
Right.
actually gifted this book to the closest of my people.
Right.
You share me your address, I'll send you a copy of this.
I will.
This book tells you about a lot. We develop about how what are words, how you account for it, how are words and emotions mixed, about how to accept negative responses and not react to it in a public.
Right.
It talks about a lot of it, and this is a book that you can read once in 3 months, again and again and again and again, because
Got
every
it.
time you read
Got it.
it, you
Fresh perspective.
pick up something very different.
Got it, Priyamvada. Thank you. Blood and Oil, the henna artist. I thought it was henna so far.
No, it's Hina.
uh, okay, henna and attitude is everything. Thank you so much for this. And Priyamvada, it was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for sharing a lot about your journey, and I hope I'm sure. No, I don't. Not that I hope. I found a lot of things that you told. Really actionable, valuable. People can like really. Oh, okay, fine. Here's the solution to something. So thank you again, and I hope probably down the line when education in you becomes more bigger, I hope I can get you for another one of these sessions and pick your brain even more.
Hopefully, thank you for all those encouraging words. Thank you for giving me this platform. Thank you for being a very amazing host who did not let me get conscious throughout the thing. It was a nice conversation.
Oh,
And
great.
um, thank you for picking me up from LinkedIn initially to be to contribute. I don't know how much have I been able to contribute, and I look forward to doing more work with you in whatever aspect I can.
Great, Premada. I'll see if I can, connect you with a couple of people. I think, both of you can, I don't know, not from business perspective or something. There's this person, who's trying to scale, and then I think you can probably help somebody out, and then, you can figure out, how you can
Always
probably
ready
get some help.
to share my knowledge because I've learned the one thing is you cannot eat a cake all by yourself.
Yeah, right, right,
And the
right.
reason I use a cake is because I'm a foodie and I'm like a sweet tooth foodie. So I want to
Okay,
enjoy, if there are 5 cakes on the table, I want to have a slice of each.
right.
I can't
Right.
have all the five, because if I have all the five, I'll have a immediate sugar high attack and I'll be dead. So rather
Yeah.
have five slices and share the rest with everybody around, so everybody can also get a taste of it.
That's
Two
wonderful.
people meeting up at a business forum does not mean they have to do business
Yeah.
and earn money
Yeah.
together. It also
Yes.
means helping and teaching each other. Why do we develop good rapport with doctors? Not that the doctors are going to ever come ask us for help, because they're anyway. We think that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But you never
Yeah.
know when a doctor also could need our help. We don't we develop rapport because we want our family or us to get the best of the treatment. But no, I do it because I feel that it's a relation that I've developed. So my grandfather passed away.
Yeah.
So what? All the doctors that I've dealt with in the last 13 years for him, uh, quite a few of them know me by face and name. They have my numbers saved on their phone, and I
Right.
can just call them at on a Sunday also and have a regular chit chat, not a medical requirement, just a regular chit chat.
Right. 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 No, that's
That's what
great.
is
I'm
relation. That's
glad.
what is the earning. That's what my.
That's amazing,
So really
Priyamvada.
nice working
Great.
with you. I know you have another scheduled podcast. You had told me the other day on the call that you have another one on Sunday. I think 7:30 or 8. So go take a rest before you start your next one.
That's so great that you remembered that.